been a while since I vlogged because we just recently got back from our long road trip to Washington. And so I'm trying to just like get back in the swing of things. But I'm just gonna start right off the bat and say I'm struggling, you guys. I feel like normally you have that post-vacation slump, but I also feel like I'm kind of just in a slump in general. Like my energy has been super low, my motivation, I just feel like so tired. Part of that is definitely from the road trip because we ended up, okay, so I had this whole plan of how the road trip would go. We were gonna stay in certain places. Let's see if I can kind of put my makeup on a little bit while doing this. We stayed with a friend the first night. We ended up getting terrible sleep. Elliot was just like so out of his comfort zone and he literally could not sleep unless he was on me. And that has actually never happened. I've never had to sleep with him on me, even when he was like a newborn. So it was just super weird. That kind of threw everything off. I was driving like a part of the leg the next day and I just had like this thought of if he's just gonna be sleeping bad anyways, he's coming. He found me. Did you find me? Hello. If he's just gonna be sleeping bad anyways, why don't we just keep driving, get to our destination quicker, and not have to pay for a hotel where we don't actually sleep? So we ended up just driving through the night, which I have tried to do. Oops, I just splattered that literally everywhere. I've tried to drive through the night before with my brother and sister-in-law, and I lasted like 40 minutes before I was like falling asleep at the wheel. So yeah, I was like, well, that's dangerous. I don't think that I can drive through the night. I kind of like wrote that off. But you know, when you become a mom and you don't get sleep regularly, I guess I was just kind of more used to not getting good sleep and I could stay up because I ended up doing like the majority of the night driving because Nick was kind of struggling. I mean, all in all, it ended up working out, but I was not planning on doing drive through the night type of road trip. But Elliot slept great in the car. That also was like a huge, you know, positive for us doing that. And we ended up doing it again on the way back, but we ended up driving 2 nights back to back because we went up to Glacier National Park and that ended up taking like a whole day. So then after our first drive, we stayed the night near Glacier. Then we did Glacier for like the whole day basically. And then so our second day was kind of all spent at Glacier and we didn't start driving again until the nighttime. So it was that whole night, the next whole day, and then another whole night before we were home. And so I think that's why I'm like so thrown off. Like it's kind of like jet lag, even though I've never really experienced jet lag, but we also, you know, you lose 3 hours coming from Washington to Chattanooga, so the time change, the driving 2 nights like back to back, I am just not. Tibbs is in the window, he's going towards the plant, I'm trying to get my thoughts together. I'm just not totally feeling like myself yet. Elliot, please don't touch the plant. Can you come here? I'm gonna finish my makeup. I really need to go grocery shopping today. Oh my goodness! Wow, that's my pterodactyl. So as I was cleaning up, I keep this basket in the living room and then I also keep this basket in my office of toys. And I kind of do like a loose rotation. And then I realized, Oh my gosh, this thing is way too full because the toys that we took on the road trip also ended up in here. So I just need to kind of empty things afresh. We got a new lovevery box maybe last month, but obviously we were kind of gone for most of the month. But this is the Explorer, and it's 9 to 10 months. So I have some of those toys that I want to add into this rotation. And then, yeah, just kind of simplifying things so he doesn't get overwhelmed with so many toys. I have kind of like all of the excess toys in this storage cubby. We will pick out what we want, take out some of the old stuff, and hopefully start with just like new and fun toys, because since he's napping, he'll be more excited because like he won't see me doing it. It'll just all of a sudden new toys, and I think that he needs that, I need that. Just kind of like a refresh. So this is what the new toys are going to be. We have some from the new kit. Most of these toys are lovevery, either from this kit or previous kits. Office basket, living room basket, and I'm sure he will like the freshness of new toys after having the same toys for like nearly a month. Aldi we go. I didn't make a list, and that might sound crazy, but because we're out of like everything, I figured I'll just go to the store, see what inspires me. I personally love grocery shopping, and I've missed being able to do it. So I'm hoping just to kind of like enjoy the experience, and maybe it'll help me feel a little bit more normal since we're dealing with, I don't know, just like a mental funk that I need to get out of. Look at it, there he is. Groceries went well, I guess. I'm still at this point where I'm feeling still like off. That post-vacation like slump, as well as just like spiritually, because I'm one of those people that, I'm gonna turn my car on because it is hot. I'm one of those people that I struggle, and I don't know why, and I always have, but I struggle keeping like a consistent quiet time routine on vacation. And so because the vacation was pretty extensive, like I feel like I've been out of a quiet time routine, and I know like that is majorly affecting me as well. Me too, bud. So that's kind of like also why I'm feeling a little bit off. Mentally, physically, all that stuff, because even on vacation, like we didn't eat the best either. So like even physically, I feel like my body needs to recover from that as well. There's a lot that I need to just get back on track. I think another thing that I guess I'll just explain while I'm driving home. So we traveled, we'll see if I'll even be able to talk with him. We traveled back home to my home where I grew up. Almost ran over a pigeon. Okay, so we drove home to my hometown and saw a bunch of my family that I hadn't seen in a few years. Something I realized on the trip that was hard, but I also think was good. I'm so sorry. Maybe I won't be able to talk about this with him doing what he's doing. On the trip, he learned how to talk, which is hilarious because I was telling everybody he's not a big talker. I'm like, he doesn't really babble, he doesn't really talk. And then literally on that trip, he was just like babbling like crazy. And then his screeches, obviously those have been a thing, but those have amped up in volume, intensity, and frequency. So we're gonna have to work on inside voice soon. But I just thought that was it was ironic that I mentioned how he's not much of a talker, and then they're like, "Are you kidding me?" Because he's just like, "Blah, blah, 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 blah." I'll try and find a break to tell you kind of some of the struggles I had on this vacation, like going home. Like, it was not what I thought it was going to be. And I'm still kind of processing some of that. Alright, Lovevery toys, saving the day, so he can play with those while I bring the groceries in. Okay, would y'all like a haul? I like watching grocery hauls. Let me know if you do as well. I think I will add a haul, but if you're not interested, you can just skip through this, but let me get myself organized. So I got ground chicken, ground turkey. I got cinnamon rolls. That might have been my biggest impulse. Not sure. String cheese, breakfast sausage. I got... I am so sorry. Green beans. Shredded hash browns, and then these like crispy potato hash brown things. A block of pepper jack cheese, half and half. Elliot, that's very loud. Almond milk and Greek yogurt. So I'm gonna put these away, and then I'll show you what's next. I got my mini cucumbers that I love. We got grape tomatoes, blackberries, and lettuce, or salad mix. And this is like a huge stock up for me. Like I said, we were out of like everything. Choking on air. I got more bananas. We already have a few, but I thought I would just pick up a few more. Bread, avocados, pink lady apples, and celery. I love that he's like learning his voice, but it is hard to deal with it after a while. Sorry if I seem a little bit frustrated or agitated. It's just a lot on the eardrums. Elliot, that is too loud. And of course he doesn't know what that means. Elliot, too loud, too loud. For the rest, so like I said, I already showed you the bread. I also got, hey, that's too loud. I keep telling you, too loud. I got tortillas and then almond butter, right? I was like, this better be almond butter. I'm obsessed with almond butter. I got these two things for Elliot to try. These little like yogurt bites, as well as these that he really likes. Something to keep him occupied, which actually, that would be really nice right now. Would you like a nummy? Yeah, okay. These are great because they keep him occupied for a while. There, maybe mommy will be able to finish this. I got this granola. I really, really like this for cereal. And then I got this granola and this granola. This one I think was on sale. This one I just really like. Some more granola bars, kind of like granola candy bars. These cereal bars, shredded wheat cereal. Some, he's still loud. Some tomato sauce for like spaghetti and meatballs, chickpeas, another can of black beans, and then some cans of green chili, black olives. The last thing is baby wipes. Hope you enjoyed the haul, and I'll see you shortly. All right, Elliot is down for his second nap. He was getting a wee bit fussy. I figured I would kind of finish my thought that I was getting around to in the car. That this trip back home was really interesting because it's like the first time I had been back after we've been kind of settled in Tennessee. Like, we went back shortly after we moved to Tennessee, like a few months later, we went back for a wedding reception. There just wasn't like enough time in between to really like, is this a good move kind of thing? And so I think now that we are more established here, we own a home, Nick has a good job. He's actually just transitioning into a different job. This is his second day at a new job. So that's been interesting as well. Kind of throwing us off on a new routine, besides the point. But it was kind of my first time being back in a while. And now that we kind of have our life more rooted here, there was still always kind of a, you know, not like a fear of missing out, but kind of like, what could we have been experiencing if we stayed in Washington, and how would life look differently if we had stayed? And so this trip was kind of a big deal to like go back and actually see things after it had been multiple years. It kind of just hit me hard that like home doesn't feel like home anymore. For one, it has changed a lot. But the aspect that really hit home for me was that I couldn't physically go home. My dad sold our house shortly after Nick and I got married. So that would have been like 5 years ago, because we just had our 5-year anniversary, or like almost 5 years that he would have sold the house. And so not being able to like go back to the home I grew up in was a huge deal. I kind of just struggled with that. We drove past the house and the new owners like had painted everything and everything looked totally different. And it just like hurt. It hurt because like you look at it and you're just like, but like that's my home and you're changing my home. Like, because my parents built that place. And so it feels like strangers living in your house. It's very weird. It's like probably whoever built this now sees stuff that we do, and it's like, I don't know. When you've built the house, you grew up in the house, all your memories are in that house. It feels really weird for someone else to be living in your house. I know it's their house now, but it's still like our house, and it will always be our house. Like, we built that house. And so not being able to go there and knowing other people are living there is really hard. And it hit me really hard when I was there. On top of that, my grandma passed away and her house got sold, and we drove past her house and it is gutted. The windows are all out. The inside is just a mess. Like, they are demolishing the house. 2 places where I have the most memories I cannot go back to, and they have changed so much. It was so hard for me, but it was also really necessary because it was easier to just close that chapter. As sad as this sounds, but like there's nothing for me to go back to. And I loved seeing my family, and that was like literally the only reason to go back, is to see family. But the feeling was different. It was really hard. It was really sad. I just dealt with a lot of those emotions and just feeling like it wasn't home. Like I didn't feel like I was going home, because even my family that still lives there, there's really only like one section of my family that are actually like extended family that still live in the house that they have lived in for many years, and we actually had our family reunion there. But all my other family, like my immediate family, my brothers, my dad, are all just like in limbo. Like none of them have roots. They're kind of just like hopping around from place to place, like, so it doesn't feel like going home to something secure. That was really hard for me to realize I can never go home ever again. Like that's I'm thankful for the trip, but it was so hard in so many ways. So I think I was always holding on, for whatever reason, always holding on to maybe I'd be able to go back to my home again. I don't know why I've held on to that, because it's not like that's ever gonna happen. And I think I wanted it so bad. I want to be able to go back there someday, and to actually have to tell myself you will never be able to go back to that house sucks. Like that sucks. And same with my grandma's, you know, can't go back there, and they're demolishing the house, so it's not like you can even drive past it and be the same house. It's gonna be a completely different house. Man, it's hard, guys. It's so hard. So anyways, that's quite challenging. I know we have to move on. We're here in Tennessee, and we need to, you know, plant our roots here. I think that's what I really, really like see and want for Elliot. I want to have a forever home. I don't know if that will happen, but it is a desire of my heart. Is it this home? Who knows? Who knows? I don't feel like it is this home, but it could be. My dream still is to build our own home someday, and that truly be our home. Like, we built it, we're the only ones that lived in it kind of thing. But I don't know if we would ever actually have the means to be able to do that. So that's the dream I'm holding on to loosely. I know that not everyone has the luxury of going back home, so I join a lot of people in that. Or maybe people didn't even have like one singular house like growing up. Like technically I lived in others. I started living on the property when I was probably like 3 or 4. So really most of my life was spent there. I don't know if you guys even care about all of that, or if you can relate at all, but I think there's just a lot of stuff going on that I need to deal with emotionally to get myself feeling like myself again. I will get back on track. I know I need to do my quiet time. I need to have a different diet, a healthier routine now that Nick has a new job. He's gonna be waking up a lot earlier, and so figuring out how that's gonna work with us I think is super important. So anyways, I want to get more plugged into the community here. Tomorrow night actually we're meeting with the small groups in our church to like started on a small group, which I think is gonna be so good for us. Like, we've wanted that since we moved here. Anyways, there are things in place that I think will be healthy and good, but just being real, struggling. So pray for me. Just pray for me. I feel like I just need prayer. Thanks for listening to my rant.